my scrappy friends, welcome to my channel. I have a older layout that I made for SpiegelMom Scraps and Paperhouse designs in March. We did a collaboration and I shared this on my Instagram, but I never shared the process video. I just, yeah. So I'm finally sharing it because it's really fun to mix media. So I will apologize right now for my head being in the way for part of this. I just thought I'd just leave it, and hopefully it's not too bad for you guys to watch. I think for the most part you'll get what I'm doing. So at the beginning, I took that cut file, which I used the Paperhouse design paper, and I cut that out. I think that the SpiegelMom Scraps cut file, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll make sure I link to it and everything. And then I used my pencil and just made some hash marks around it, like inside the boxes, because basically what I'm going to do is do an ombre that goes along with the cut file, and have it follow the colors. So I'm trying to match the colors quite a bit. Oh, my head's in the way quite a bit there. So hopefully you can kind of get a good idea with how I'm doing this. And I'm using some like Shimmerz vibes. I'm using some watercolors. I'm just using lots of different stuff. I am going to add a little bit of my Prima stuff. I tried to use quite a bit of Shimmerz because you can get a lot of these colors in the store. I know Jody has quite a few of the pots, so I'll try to link to the pots that are in there or colors that are similar, and then so that you can find them. And they're super fun. I love Jody's store, so it's one of those teams that I enjoyed being on, and it was always nice and fun, and very like sparking creative, different ways to be creative. So yeah, so one of the things that I was thinking as I was watching this is, why didn't I just put the cut file down and just like basically paint around the cut file? And I could have did that, but I really wanted to kind of make it just look like the color is coming from underneath and out, like around it, so it wasn't the complete inside of the cut file that you were seeing filled up. So here's one of the pots, the shimmer pots, that is the green. Oh my gosh, I love this green. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. This is a very colorful layout, and I use a lot of color, but this, I think using like that rainbow color really is just fun. And it's fun to do that sometimes, and do that and then kind of match your colors in the different areas where those colors are. I think that's really fun. So I will say one of the things about not having the cut file there so much is that the colors weren't as flowing as it would have been if I had just had the whole thing down and just like really kind of went around it. So that's one of those things that if you're going to use your cut file and have the open spaces, have the color, just decide how you want to do it, because you just have to be really careful not to paint on the cut file. And that's the thing, is I really wanted the cut file to stand out from it. And so this was kind of the way that I did it. Maybe if I had traced it even more, it would have been a little bit easier, but I didn't want a lot of the marks. And as you could see, hopefully, is that I did go through with my eraser quite a bit each time I went to each section. So it's not perfect, the colors, and that's fine, because it didn't need to be. I mean, that's one of the fun things about mixed media and watercolor, is it is a little bit more giving because you're using with water and colors, and you know, and sometimes they bleed into each other and they create different colors that you weren't expecting, and sometimes the spaces that you're coloring are not quite there, you know, all there and stuff. But I had a lot of fun, and I did do some splatters with the colors too in the different areas, so it was really fun. And I think it turned out pretty good. I think the only color that wasn't quite as the same was that going from the red to the yellowy red green color that there is. I didn't try to mimic that color. I didn't really like that color, so I did stick more with that orangey yellow color, which is pretty easy to, you know, you can just mix orange and yellow together. So, yeah. So now I'm going to layer the papers that I got. So each of us got some papers and some stickers and products from Paperhouse Productions, and then we had to use what we got. And quite a bit of us did this watercolory artsy pattern or collection, and it was really fun. I will say that, and this might sound really odd, right? Coming from a mixed media person, I sometimes have a hard time using products that are already mixed media, like this. And I don't know if it was because it had a lot of colors, and there's a lot of stuff that had yellow and reds, which I don't use very often, and green, and like even that green. So I don't know if I would have necessarily had ever made a paper that would have been that color. So I think that the key for me was to try to pick out pieces and just let little bits of those pieces stick out, so that I was just highlighting the colors and stuff. So I really like that. I really loved that that blue striped, which I think I shared a layout that I made with that. That was really fun. But anyway, so yeah, I'm just kind of like using the pieces. There was a lot of cut apart pieces in the papers that I had. So if you have a chance to check out Paperhouse Productions, they have a lot of different cool products and papers and collections and stuff. And so definitely check them out because it's quite fun. They do a lot of like those stickers and stuff. Like those butterflies were so much fun. I had to really not remind myself not to use every single one on the page because it just wouldn't have worked. But those were really pretty. They were really iridescent. Like they had the iridescent-y type stuff. And so now I'm just kind of like building around. I'm going to put the title here, and I'm just building clusters and layers of pieces in different areas. So I think I'm going to pick like 3 or 4 areas kind of around. Like I'm going to pick an area where I put that title part, and then I'm going to stick something in up in the top corner and over a little bit. I know that they say it works really well to use like a triangle to try to have your stuff be like form a triangle. So it definitely looks good when you have it not, I don't have it in different areas, so it's not all in one line or one like all over the place. But I also do like it when you kind of draw your eye from the bottom up to the top, and you kind of follow like this, like almost like a grid, like a, I want to say grid, but so if you're doing like a graph and the points go up, right? The point graph and stuff. So sometimes I like to do my pieces like that, so it's not completely straight, but it kind of goes up in a diagonal or and hits a few different places. So it might not just be like 3 spots, but it might be like 4 or 5. So And some of those spots don't have to be really big spots, right? I mean, if you see like down below, I have that good vibes button, and then I have the ampersand up above, and then up at the top I have that cork piece from SpiegelMom Scraps with the good vibes little sticker. And then I'm going to put this butterfly here over, so you can see it kind of heads up that way, but it's not completely straight, and it just draws your eye up like from one part of the layout to the other part of the layout, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I really liked adding some of these pieces to those cork pieces. I still have I have a hard time using all these cork pieces because I know that Jody doesn't make them anymore. So if you had an opportunity to get those, or they happen to show up in the store clearance section for, you know, some reason, pick them up and use them because they're super, super fun. Super, super fun. Or if you can make them yourself, definitely do that. So I did try to put a few items like in some of the squares, like up at that top square on that has that watercolory pinky purpley sticker, and then there's a smaller heart up there, and then down at the bottom I have the heart sticking up. I use a lot of those cork pieces because they're just nice and fun, and it kind of ties everything together, and it's one of those elements that's really neutral, and it can help tone down all of the color because there's a lot of color, and there's a lot of pieces that have a lot of color, but that's the fun part of it, right? So, and now this picture is a picture of me standing out. This was in springtime, obviously, because I made this in March. And it was just when the sun was just first starting to come out, and we were starting to get our really nice green grass, and the dandelions were starting to come out. You know, that's the sign of spring is really here when the dandelions start coming out. And yeah. So, even though they're not the prettiest weed ever, there's worse weeds than dandelion weeds. So yeah. And so now I'm just going to add some of these sequins. These are the sequin packs that Jody put together for this collaboration, and it was really fun. There's these the purpley ones that matched really well, and I liked that I could put the colors really similar in the different watercolor areas that matched, so that was really nice. It's nice when you can do those little things. And I like to use a liquid glue. I really like to use glossy accents when I'm putting down my sequins because it holds pretty well. But I will use, as you can see, the mono. I will say with that mono, though, your hand gets really goopy. So you do kind of have to pay attention to that and be careful to not touch lots of stuff on your layout with that sticky finger because you'll end up with a mark. And yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this layout. It was super fun to make. And check out all the links below so that you can see how you can get your hands on the cut file and some of this product because it's super fun. And I will see you guys later. I hope you have a great scrappy week. Bye.